Welcome back, everyone. Humans have produced images for thousands upon thousands of years, but cultural understandings of what images are, how they work, and the powers they unleash have varied widely through time and across social traditions. Now, I spoke with Dr. Severin Fowles about his online presentation titled The Interpretation of Ancestral Pueblo Rock Art and how it dives into one of the stunning revelations in image productions. Take a look. Joining us this morning, Dr. Severin Fowles. Thank you so much for joining us, Doctor.
It's my pleasure to be with you.
You have an interesting lecture coming up soon for a lot of New Mexicans that would be very insightful when it comes to a part of our history. Tell us about that.
Well, it's a lecture this coming Tuesday, June 30th at 2 p.m. Through the School for Advanced Research. It's an online salon, and I hope that it'll be of great interest to all New Mexicans who already know a great deal about the indigenous history of this area and surely have hiked around the landscape and seen rock art and been curious about it. This lecture really is diving into Puebloan rock art, ancestral Puebloan rock art, and it tackles the big question of a revolution of images that happened about 4,000 years ago in this part of the world. So I'll be diving into that revolution and looking at how it unfolded.
Just speaking with you just a few minutes earlier, just about your research and what you've uncovered and everything that you're learning from this, can you tell our viewers what your focus is and what you've discovered about the rock art in New Mexico?
Yeah, my particular research is based in the Rio Grande Gorge up near Taos. So for the past decade, I've had teams of students out there, scrambling around the landscape, recording thousands of rock art panels. Now in the talk, I'm going to draw from images across the Southwest, but that really is my focus. And I'm really interested in what happened when hunters and gatherers, or the art of foragers, transitioned towards the art of farmers. There was a big shift in the way people produced images when they started producing corn and other agricultural products. So that shift is something I'm going to be exploring, how economies effectively impacted image production traditions.
I think it's so interesting how your group is able to not only find this rock art, but also to assess its meaning behind it. Can you tell us about your findings? How do you guys, find all this rock art and then determine this was something that, from decades, centuries ago that we needed to discover?
You could add millennia ago as well, because some of the rock art I'll be talking about is many thousands of years old. I, of course, like all scholars, rely on colleagues. We work all over the Southwest on these issues, and we bring them together to provide a synthetic picture. But it takes a lot of work. There's a science to actually recording the rock art in the field. I'll share a little bit about that in the talk. So, it's complicated, but the result is really exciting. The interpretation of rock art is something that we lean heavily on our indigenous colleagues who have a tremendous amount of knowledge, some of which they share with us. But we also depend on art historical techniques to really think about how images have changed over time. So I'm going to be drawing from some of my Native colleagues, what they've shared with me, but I'll be primarily looking at this through a kind of formal art historical lens.
Was there something that just caught your attention as you've progressed with your studies that was just a light bulb went off over your head thinking, wow, I didn't realize this was taking place back then?
Yeah, well, what blew my mind, to be honest, when I started this research was to realize that for thousands of years out here on this landscape, the folks who occupied what's now New Mexico didn't produce images of humans at all. They produced a lot of images, but never of the human body. And then when they started growing corn and other domesticated crops, suddenly the human image started to populate rocks all over the landscape. And I'm fascinated by that question. Why, for thousands of years, did we not produce images of ourselves? And then when we started farming, images of ourselves proliferated. This is part of that revolution I'll be talking about. And I still am working on the answer, but I'll share my preliminary thoughts in the talk.
So interesting. We were talking before our interview began as to who might be inspired to listen on this lecture. Tell me, who do you think should be listening in on this?
Well, it's true that young children will probably find some of my discussion, a little tiresome. Although there'll be some great images for them if they want to hang out with their folks as they watch it. This is primarily for anyone high school or above who has a curiosity about New Mexican history, who might specifically have a curiosity about the rock art that they see when they're walking around. There's going to be a question and answer period after the lecture, in fact. So I invite people to bring their questions, to bring them to the conversation, and we'll work together to see what can be said about this remarkable archive of imagery.
And finally, Doctor, now that we've got everybody's attention, because I know there's people on the edge of their seat right now thinking, when is this taking place and how can I get involved?
Yes, so there is a registration online. So if you would like to take part, you'll be going to the School for Advanced Research website, and you'll see the online salon for the interpretation of Ancestral Pueblo rock art, run by me. This is at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. You'll be able to register, join the Zoom salon, and we'll take it from there.
Dr. Fowles, I want to thank you so much for joining us.
It was a real pleasure. Have a lovely day.
You too.
If you want a recap of that interview or more details about the online lecture, go to our website. That's always on krqe.com.